what better than to focus on financial wellness, right? To build towards a better financial future for everyone. We have Amol with us. So, Amol, thank you once more for joining in. I'd like to start this off by asking you, in your experience, what do you, what are the key components that actually make up financial wellness for anybody? What are the key parts that financial wellness would mean for any person, in your experience?
So thank you so much, Ashish. It's wonderful, wonderful for the uh, platform to give me a chance to speak about financial wellness. So I think financial wellness, again, two components to this phrase, finance and wellness. And wellness is actually the feeling of always being good, wherein you are lighthearted, you don't have any stress. It's just like a feeling of being normal and, able to do a lot of things that you would want. And I think when finance gets added to it, it really becomes big because all of us today, in the rat race of achieving some milestones, life goals, I think really want us to be ourselves to be financially secure, want our family members to be financially secure. And today is the world of aspirations. Everyone wants to grow. Everyone wants to wear the best. Everyone wants to live in the best house. Everyone wants to aspire for the best of the things like iPhone, travel, vacation. And in case, God forbid, there are some challenges, then all of us also aspire for the best of emergency management situations. So I think overall financial wellness, what it holds good for anyone is not having any stress, having enough, or maybe able to manage all the crisis management situations very well, having some kind of resources to fall back on financially. So that's what occurs to me on financial wellness.
Got it, got it. So when you say the entire part, now for us, typically one size doesn't fit all, right? When we look at financial wellness, it'll be different for me, it'll be different for you, it'll be different for n number of people, because no two people are unique. But in even if I look at the corporate workforce, that's currently there, you have people at different ends of the spectrum. You have a very large bunch of people who work in services enabled sectors, the so-called white collar workers. You have a lot of people who work in the manufacturing sector, who have a completely different background, where they kind of come from, and the work that they do. And then there is the gig workers, or like the new term for them, gray collar, who again have a very different task in front of them. A crisis, or any sort of financial outlook for each three of them have very different meanings. So if we were to say, talk about financial wellness for them, and if we get a little bit deeper about it, what would things for each of them look like? Because they'd be very different, and I'm not even talking about levels, right? If we
Yeah,
start getting into a CEO level to an exec level, things will be different over there as well. So how do you
absolutely.
kind of think about financial wellness for these three very distinct segments in our workforce?
Correct. So I think I'll just come back to your question and how do we decode that. But foremost, what exactly is financial wellness? We just talked about certain goals. Now these could be aspirational goals and these could be situational goals. Now situational goals are what today. Let's say there is some emergency in the family which has happened, and I require some money overnight at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I don't have enough savings. I can't go to a bank to basically write down an application. So I need to borrow money. So that's a situational, that's a situation wherein you need to achieve a particular goal. When we are talking about someone who's there at a hospital, entered in the hospital with some ailment, but the treatment has extended, and now the person is he's exhausted his savings. He's on the brink of selling some kind of assets. That's again a situational goal that he needs to achieve. Then there are situations which are aspirational, wherein you start your career at the age of 25, 26, start having some savings. You have goals like buying your first let's say, C-class car, buying a house property, planning, of course, a marriage. Let's say marriage happens, you expand your family, then talk about kids' education, kids' wedding, and then finally retirement. So a financial wellness program today has connotations about both these kind of situations, which is aspirational as well as any kind of situations which happen. And hence, for anyone, like all the people that you spoke about, across age groups or across category of employees, the category of employees could be, let's say, blue collar, which is, I'm assuming, a kind of a factory staff or support staff. When we're talking about gray collar, which is a mix of them. Of course, gig workers today, it's a different connotation wherein they only do contractual jobs or projects. And then we are talking about white collared stuff, wherein people are looking at junior management to senior management, finally the top of the management kind of people. So I think all these people have different goals. Now, people who really require any kind of crisis or situational based financial wellness are those people when we are talking about majorly at the pyramid level, wherein they don't have enough savings. They require money from time to time, and their expenses and incomes are always in a equation. It's not one greater. I mean, definitely expenses are greater than income at most of the times. So, financial wellness program for them would be absolutely different versus people who are decently paid or who are at the higher spectrum of savings or earned salary, wherein they really need to plan for what kind of goals that they should meet. And when corporate comes, when any HR folk or let's say a wellness leader comes and curates a program, since the needs are different, the financial plans would be very different. So let's say for a worker or a blue collared person in an organization in the industry, uh, typically these blue collared workers may be migrants from smaller cities. They might come to work in a major city. They it could be a first job. It could be earning a wage like 10,000 rupees or 15,000 rupees a month. For them, the expenses are so high that they are not able to save. So how do they save? Through some kind of a micro savings platform. How do they manage their expenses better? They're not also able to sometimes know how to send remittances back at their home. So what kind of best of the payment instruments that they have? What kind of remittances do they have? These people are also not so much agile on the financial intelligence. So even if they should not fall prey to any schemes, and all of us know that there are a lot of financial schemes that various institutions have, and they should not even fall prey to a chit fund or something similar kind of a scheme. So the financial wellness program for these people is to basically make them realize that what kind of basic important financial needs exist, and they need to first of all start savings on a micro basis, so that tomorrow if there's any corpus to be created for any emergency or back at their home where their folks are in a remote place and all, they can provide for that. They also need to be made aware of the various schemes that the government has. So the government has also had various schemes that they've propagated for such class of people, wherein you get a very nominal priced cover, insurance cover, on health, life, etc. So they need to be made aware that the government also has some schemes, and in case that there is everything which is not there, the insurance doesn't support, and they don't have much of savings. What are the various digital lending schemes or platforms? From there they can borrow money at a lower interest cost, because these are the people who may not really have the best of the banking relationships. So hence they need to be always shown that these are carefully curated schemes which are not really very high interest oriented ones. So financial program at that end of the working outfit will always have education at the bottom of it, when educating the blue collared workers on various important aspects of their financial well-being, and giving them that support system that, hey, if something goes wrong, these are the various schemes that you should look at. And you'll be amazed to know that the blue collared workers typically, barring the very nominal insurance cover that they would get under law, statutory obligations of the enterprise, they don't have any fallback plan on. So hence insurance becomes a very important thing. Should you fall sick, then there is an X amount of money which could be paid to you in terms of an insurance for a treatment, or you can go and get treated at a particular hospital, in, let's say, a cashless way. Most of these workers today have only schemes of government that they rely on, wherein they go to a government hospital, and all of us know that the state of affairs at the various government hospitals is not best up to the speed. So education is something which is very important, followed by making them realize that these are the various small micro saving schemes, or micro lending schemes that they have. When you come to a combination of, let's say, uh,
I just want to kind of
please
interrupt a little bit over there,
please go ahead.
and kind of put this question, because you spoke about the financial education of this class, because that's as important as getting the fact that they have access to emergency cash. And we know of a large number of issues that have happened with, even with digital lending. You've had a bunch of other players coming in who are not mandated by the RBI, who are just the entire Chinese app, and other. And because the education over here is so less, how do you guys also kind of educate them on things that they need to take into account before they even say, "Hey, this is a digital lender that I'm going to sign up for." Because for them, it's a very difficult part to know what is correct and what is wrong. Because, as you said, financial education, if you're at the bottom of the pyramid, it's the harder thing to kind of come into.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. As a responsible player like us, first of all, you have to ensure that you are regulated. That's the least thing you can do. You can't, be in the eyes of the regulator, not really following the regulations. And the other part is that you need to do responsible business. Now, if you're in a business of lending, of course, there is banks, there is NBFC, and there is fintech. That's the way you have this value chain. Of course, banks have a very low borrowing cost, and hence they are able to offer loans, not to all but to many, or maybe a particular state of the society, at a lower interest rate. But it's only NBFCs and fintech companies now who are democratizing credit, wherein they are able to offer loans to even people who are new to credit, don't have a very a solid bureau score. So it gives a very important aspect of responsible digital lending, wherein that if you were that kind of a guy, who's today needing something to fall back on and doesn't have a very high income level, whether you will be able to pay it back or not. And if because of the want of earning high rate of interest, which could somewhere add to the bottom line of that particular enterprise or a lender, if you end up charging a very higher interest rate, then you are not really looking at addressing the problem of the person. So hence it's a very response, it's a behavior which would come out of the vision. You need to be a long term player, you need to offer sustainable lending, and you should not really offer it at higher obscene interest cost. And the third part is wherein as a lender, if you are working, let's say, in the B2B, which is the corporate ecosystem, you need to do enough roadshows, webinars, educational capsules, wherein you advise people that, hey, while it's good to borrow, but you need to borrow if you require money, which is for a particular need. Unless until you let's say don't have a need, of course the idea should be saving. So you promote financial wellness programs, which are not just about lending, which are also about savings, investments, managing your various asset classes. At the same time, you also offer programs which are around health and wellness, around how do you really upskill yourself. And by the way, in case you require something, you should opt for it. You would have heard about schemes like buy now pay later, wherein you can today upgrade your lifestyle by paying it over EMIs. And again, it requires a lot of players like us to offer it with the responsibility that at any point of time, the person who's borrowing money or who's upgrading his lifestyle should be able to pay it off. So it's very important that one needs to structure the interest cost, which is absolutely right, and on the other side ensure that at all times you are adding enough knowledge about your product, about the the systems that will go through, about the repayment that the customer needs to do, so that the person is able to take a right decision. So I think these are few things which, if you keep on contributing with your channel partners to your end customer, I think they go a long way in terms of responsible borrowing.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
And I'll
Got it.
just go back to what you were talking about, the white collared thing. In terms of white collar, the financial wellness programs are always around. How do you achieve your various life goals? As I said sometime back, that there are X amount of corpuses which need to be created for various goals. One can always help the employees get educated about those programs. Maybe I'll talk about this later, that how could one do it. But then overall, what are the levers? The levers are invest right, save in the best way possible, and in case you need money which you are not able to, let's say, get at any point of time, how do you really fall back with good financial plan which can help you borrow money instantaneously, so that you are able to afford whatever need that you have. So it has to be in combination with both these category of people in an organization.
Absolutely, and I'd also add in that that you need financial education for this class as well, because especially at the junior level, you've heard this whole concept of urban poor, people who are so running behind aspirational things, including cars and gadgets, that they for they just don't have money at the end of the month to kind of tide over those 3 4 days, and they're constantly struggling in this entire entire role of saying, I need to go out, I need to constantly be there, and they're just running out of money. So a thorough financial education for somebody who's in that stage is equally as important, with what you were stating for the guys who are getting stuck in all the loan scams.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So, Amol, like when it comes to employers and when it comes to HR departments and guys who actually control a large part of the well-being and who are concerned about all of these guys, a lot of times these are very individual driven choices, right? The fact that I want to invest in a certain in a certain instrument, to whether I want to take a loan, to whether I want to do anything, is a very individual driven choice. So how can employers who know that this is a good thing for my employees kind of encourage them, even though they may not have the power, and they only have an influential power to a certain extent? How can they kind of institute things which can help build a culture of their employees financial well-being, so that in the longer term their employees are not only happier, they're just financially also far more secure?
So I think it's a very important question, Ashish, and what it essentially means is that today, when an employee joins, I mean, the way do you have a control of an employee when an employee joins your organization? That's one, wherein you are onboarding a new family member. He's coming in. That's where you start orienting, him to the organization. And the other thing is the regular employees which are there with the organization. And I feel that financial wellness, why it's very important, because if there's a worry which will always be on the minds of an employee, he'll not be productive, and he'll spend most of his time in terms of aligning resources for it, or his mind would not be there at the workplace, and as a result of which, forget about innovation, productivity is a big question. So hence it's very important that how do you ensure that financial wellness is being spoken to. Now, employees may not, definitely open up with HR or open up with their managers that he or she has a particular financial challenge, because still it's considered to be a taboo in the society that hey, you're not able to manage your finances better. So it has to be a very it's a curated program which an organization has to offer, wherein and this all depends on the resources and the willingness of an organization. We can of course still talk about it. I think the least an organization today can do is to organize seminars or workshops. There are enough, IFAs. By IFA, I mean mutual fund advisors or insurance advisors or people who are working as freelancers, and they'll be very happy because all the people working in a corporate, they invest right from what 500 rupees per month to could be 50,000 rupees or a lakh of rupees in a systematic investment plan. So today resources are abundant outside, wherein an organization can tie up with a team of financial coaches and they can do workshops with the organization and have regular seminars to educate people on savings, investments, the right asset classes and all. There are a lot of players like us who are fintech companies who are today solving today solving a problem in terms of giving instant cash for any emergency requirements, or let's say offering easy EMI solutions for upskilling oneself, education, buying insurance, investing into a good health insurance plan. Also, if in case, God forbid, something happens at a hospital, help convert the hospital out of pocket expense into EMIs. And of course, the other various things like if you want to really go for a vacation, travel, plan your wedding, you can get EMI solutions. So I think a lot of those offerings come in. So how do they engage in terms of a curated program right from education, onboarding these financial coaches who could actually either organization as a whole or maybe through a personalized approach get in touch with employees and help them make their financial plans, and also by onboarding us onto the various platforms, which could be a HRMS platform, which could be a marketplace like yours, curated vendors who offer low cost interest products for any need that an employee could have. And today there is also a very good program which is being running. It's called earned wage access, wherein any number of days that you work in an organization, approximate amount of that can be actually given you as an advance salary, and it could be deducted from the payroll. We have been offering the scheme for quite some time now. So it's about having this curated program which includes education as well as proactive element of savings. And in case when one requires to meet out with a situation which could be emergency, which could be, let's say, buying insurance, being at a hospital, looking at upskilling oneself, maybe also you want to look good, you can buy the best of lifestyle for yourself. So for these needs there are solutions today. So having that particular ecosystem within the organization is very important, and ensuring that employees use it, so which only happens through communication with employees, actually would do the trick, wherein you'll engage all the employees through this program and then see the efficacy of it. So that's my response. I hope it met your question.
Got it. No, absolutely. It helps, and it puts pretty much the whole discussion into a wrapper, because that's what employees need to do in order to look at that. And we spoke about how blue collar employees and people who are from that social strata need to look at education as the key to not fall prey to a lot of scams. On the white collar front, it's again far more about education and getting the mindset in place that, hey, while ambition is great, you should not spend beyond what you are currently getting. Otherwise, it may. And for employers, it is about instituting those programs. It's about instituting that constant message uh, of of uh, of of encouraging the employees to constantly talk about things, saying there's nothing called a taboo over there. Hey, we're out here to help you. In fact, and that's the whole reason why of an employee would gain financial wellness at the end of the day. Um, so thank you so much, Amol, for giving us your time. It was great having you here, and hopefully we'll continue our partnership onwards from here on in.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for inviting me, and I wish the very best to the organization and to our partnership. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amol.